The United States and Canada share the world's longest undefended border, a testament to the enduring friendship and cooperation between the two nations. For generations, this border has symbolized a model of peaceful coexistence and mutual respect. The ease of movement and trade across this border has been a cornerstone of the relationship, fostering economic growth and cultural exchange. However, recent events signal growing friction, testing the old assumptions of easy friendship. The once seamless interactions are now marred by a series of disputes and policy changes. At the heart of this unease is British Columbia's bold proposal to impose tolls on U.S. commercial trucks traveling through BC to reach Alaska. This move has sparked significant debate and concern on both sides of the border. The Alaska Highway, a vital corridor for trade and travel, is central to this plan. The proposed tolls are seen as a way for British Columbia to assert its economic interests, but they also risk escalating tensions. This proposal has captured attention on both sides of the border, with stakeholders from various sectors weighing in on the potential impacts. The toll proposal is deeply connected to broader trade tensions, with the shadow of protectionism looming large. The economic policies and rhetoric from both nations have contributed to a charged atmosphere. Former U.S. President Donald Trump's rhetoric, including threats of tariffs, has spurred Canadian responses. His administration's protectionist stance has led to a series of retaliatory measures from Canada. British Columbia's Premier, David Eby, is pushing back against these pressures, advocating for policies that protect local interest while navigating the complexities of international trade. The situation remains fluid, with ongoing negotiations and discussions aimed at finding a resolution that balances the needs and concerns of both nations. As the dialogue continues, the hope is that the long-standing friendship between the United States and Canada will prevail, leading to solutions that reinforce the strength of their partnership. The outcome of these discussions will shape the future of the border dynamics, reflecting the resilience and adaptability of both nations in the face of new challenges. In March 2025, Premier David Eby announced new legislation to authorize tolls on U.S. commercial trucks using BC highways to reach Alaska. This move is seen as a significant shift in the province's transportation policy, aiming to address the increasing wear and tear on its infrastructure caused by heavy commercial traffic. This strategic move was a direct response to external pressures, particularly Trump's threats of heavy tariffs on Canadian goods. The former U.S. president's aggressive trade policies have long been a point of contention, and this toll proposal is BC's way of pushing back. Premier Eby characterized his toll plan as economic self-defense, viewing Trump's tariff threats as a risk to Canadian sovereignty. He emphasized that the tolls are not just about revenue, but about protecting the province's economic interests and ensuring fair treatment in international trade. His stance resonated with many Canadians, emphasizing the need to defend Canada's independence. Public opinion has largely been supportive, with many citizens seeing the tolls as a necessary measure to safeguard the nation's economic stability and autonomy. Interestingly, the proposed tolls might not be implemented immediately. They are precautionary, designed to be flexible and responsive. This means that the government can adjust the tolls based on the evolving economic landscape and trade relations. The legislation provides a tool to be used if needed, acting as a strategic deterrent and signaling BC's preparedness. By having this legislation in place, British Columbia is sending a clear message that it is ready to protect its interests and respond to any external economic threats. Donald Trump's reaction to British Columbia's proposal was swift and predictable. He denounced the tolls as unfair to American businesses, arguing that such measures would harm the economic relationship between the two countries. Trump emphasized that American truckers and companies would bear the brunt of these new tolls, which he claimed were designed to disadvantage the United States. He framed the tolls as part of a broader pattern of economic aggression from Canada, suggesting that this was just another example of how other countries were taking advantage of the U.S. economy. His rhetoric was aimed at rallying his base, who have long supported his protectionist trade policies. Premier David Eby responded with a striking accusation, suggesting Trump harbored ambitions beyond trade. Eby implied that Trump viewed Canada as a potential 51st U.S. state, a claim that was both provocative and inflammatory. This accusation was intended to highlight what Eby saw as Trump's overreach and disregard for Canadian sovereignty. The idea that Trump might have designs on Canadian territory was met with both outrage and skepticism. Many saw it as a hyperbolic statement meant to galvanize Canadian public opinion against Trump's policies. However, it also tapped into deeper fears about American dominance and the potential erosion of Canadian independence. This dramatic claim intensified the rhetorical battle, transforming an economic dispute into one about national identity. The strong language used by both Trump and Eby fueled growing antagonism, making de-escalation challenging. Public opinion became more entrenched, complicating efforts to find common ground. The escalating war of words between the two leaders highlighted the fragile nature of international relations in the current political climate. As both sides dug in, the possibility of a diplomatic resolution seemed increasingly remote. The strong rhetoric from both Trump and Eby served to inflame passions on both sides of the border. Public opinion became more entrenched, complicating efforts to find common ground. The media coverage of the dispute further polarized the issue, with each side accusing the other of bad faith and ulterior motives. The situation underscored the challenges of managing cross-border relations in an era of heightened nationalism and economic protectionism. Trump's reaction fits his established pattern of viewing trade relationships in zero-sum terms, consistent with his past actions. His approach to international trade has always been combative, focusing on winning at the expense of others. This latest episode with Canada is just another chapter in his ongoing effort to reshape global trade dynamics in favor of the United States. The proposed tolls target commercial vehicles transiting through British Columbia to Alaska, affecting the Alaska Highway, a critical land link. Currently, U.S. commercial trucks enjoy duty-free passage, but the proposed tolls represent a fundamental shift. Businesses relying on this route face a new operational cost, causing concern among transport companies. The economic impact on Alaska is significant, with fears of rising costs and supply chain disruptions. However, most goods arrive in Alaska via sea and air, tempering fears of catastrophic impact. Yet, for certain goods and industries, this land route is vital, and its disruption could be significant. British Columbia's toll proposal is part of a larger strategy to reduce economic reliance on the United States. The government aims for greater economic self-determination, pursuing measures like breaking down internal trade barriers within Canada. Strengthening interprovincial commerce can create a more robust national economy, fostering unity amid external uncertainties. Another policy is the low-carbon fuel standard, requiring certain fuel components to be produced in Canada, supporting local industries. This approach combines economic development with climate action, building a resilient and sustainable economy. British Columbia is preparing for a challenging global trade environment, ensuring long-term economic security and stability. Premier David Eby has been resolute, emphasizing Canada's determination to stand firm against economic threats. For Eby, this issue transcends economics, defending Canada's independence and sovereignty. His announcement was symbolic, projecting unity with a large Canadian flag and party support. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau criticized Trump's tariffs, advocating for free and fair trade. There is broad support for British Columbia's position within Canada, seen as a necessary defensive measure. This consensus strengthens the federal government's hand, indicating a unified national stance on this critical issue. U.S. political reactions to the toll dispute are divided, with no single unified viewpoint. Some support Trump's tough stance, prioritizing American interests, while others criticize the escalating tensions. Critics express concern about the health of the U.S.-Canada relationship, advocating for diplomatic solutions. Alaskan politicians directly affected by the proposed tolls will advocate for Alaska's economic interests, creating pressure within the U.S. political system. This dispute could have broader implications for U.S. trade policy, highlighting the complexities of managing trade relationships. It underscores the delicate balance required in global commerce, serving as a lesson in interconnectedness. U.S.-Canada trade relations have faced strain before, with past events providing important context. The first term of the Trump administration saw significant trade disputes, including tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum. This history shapes current perceptions, creating an atmosphere of uncertainty and caution in Canada. A significant concern is the potential for further retaliation, with the dispute devolving into a tit-for-tat cycle. Such a scenario would harm both economies, disrupting businesses and raising costs for consumers. Avoiding this downward spiral requires restraint and careful diplomacy, with a commitment to dialogue for a more prosperous North America.